Yo, this your boy Double Up and I'm back with another banger. And today I had to come get into that boy Adam22 talking about that boy Bricc Baby money. I guess Adam22 ain't sent that boy Bricc Baby no money since he's been locked up, man. Sorry, I've been gone for a little bit, man. I've been sick, you get what I'm saying? But before we start this video, I need you to like, comment, subscribe. Man, go hit that like button for your boy, man. But we ain't gonna talk too much. We gonna get right into the content. Let's go.
I put out a video about the Bricc Baby situation. There was some stuff that he said on stream, or not on stream, but on a jail call to his girl while I was away. I addressed it in the video, and I guess I'm bringing it to the table right now so we can kind of have a conversation about it. What was you guys' thoughts on this piece that I put out?
Well, my first thought was that I understood what you were saying when your confusion was like, damn, when I talk to you on the phone, where's this energy?
Right.
And then the next day you have to hear about it through third parties and publicly. I can understand your frustration there.
That's the same way Lush got fired the first time. You get what I'm saying? Going through third parties and all that, man.
And I think Bricc is probably just in a feeling kind of desperate, you know what I mean? Like his back's against the wall. The amount of money it costs to fight cases of this magnitude are fucking crazy. And, you know, he's got, what, 5 kids? Like more? Four kids.
Okay.
He take care of more than that, though. He has like a lot of people he take care of. So, you know, the financial thing is probably really stressful. I feel bad that I can't do more for him. I already have I put about $100 a month to the side for my partners in jail, for Lil C, for Norm, for Ronnie Alma. It's not that much, you feel me? But it's what I can afford. So on my next paycheck, I'm gonna shoot Bricc another note. That's what I can do. I wish I could have more money for him.
For sure. And definitely, I think Friday we're going to do a music stream / whatever stream, just talk.
But why Munchie B and his homeboy over there just quiet? I want to hear what they got to say.
And stuff, and we're going to basically give that money to Bricc. And we're also plotting on some t-shirts, some free Bricc Baby t-shirts, so that we can raise some more money for him in that regard. I guess basically, like, I was trying to prompt a conversation with that video about the fact that, you know, I feel like I'm in kind of a weird spot because of the fact that, you know, he got locked up. There was already a sizable debt. I had let him borrow a pretty significant amount of money from my perspective. And it's like, you know, I know that he looks at me as somebody who's got his life together and have done fairly well for myself over the years. But the truth is that No Jumper, in kind of a tricky spot. Obviously, we did the whole going broke narrative, had that whole conversation a couple of weeks ago and everything. But, you know, it's a weird spot to be in because I wish that I could fully support him and that I could kind of make these problems go away. I wish I could just cop the boy a lawyer. That would be amazing. But realistically,
Do y'all feel like Adam22, if he had the money, he'd give him a lawyer? I feel he got the money because he got more than one business. He always talking about No Jumper. He has other businesses as that. Let's get back into it.
there's only so much that I could do. And it's like we went weeks where he didn't ask me for anything. So this is kind of like all just sort of like come about over the course of like the last week. I felt like he wasn't asking me because I had just let him borrow more money like right before he got locked up. So I know he probably like didn't really want to ask me for it, but it's like from my perspective, there's got to be a limit on how much I'm really expected to do for somebody.
Honestly, when it comes to people borrowing money, holding money, you shouldn't even be talking about that on no podcast. You get what I'm saying? That's y'all personal business. If I let somebody hold some money, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I let such hold $50 last night. That's green. Let's get back into it.
Somebody who does podcasts on the channel, in particular because of the fact, and I don't think I mentioned this in the video, but it's like Brick's case doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, it's like, it's not, he didn't catch the case because of anything he did on camera. Even the stuff that did happen on camera that makes his case a little bit worse, like the fact that they pointed out that he had a gun in his waistline on his last time on the podcast right before they arrested him. Like, I didn't know that. I never had a conversation with him about if he was bringing a strap to work or anything like that. But it's not like he...
Don't you got security? Ain't they supposed to be checking these people when they come through the door?
Got locked up defending me or defending the business or something, maybe that situation would be a little bit different. You know, this was purely stuff that realistically, like almost everything that he's in trouble for is stuff that happened even before he started working at No Jumper.
Do you think that if he didn't have the $8,000 or so debt to you previous to this incarceration?
You put the dollar amount out there?
I did. I put it in the video. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, he said that he had.
I think me and Stoney just getting up to speed.
Okay, so in the original, when Bricc got locked up, I guess it was around the time he was first coming over here.
It was within like the first month or two that he was doing podcasts on the channel that he basically got the feds running up in his crib.
Yeah. So he got busted then, and Adam shot him 5 bands, and then I guess recently you shot him another few bands. So if you didn't already have that balance, would you think it would be a different situation?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I would probably be like more forthcoming in terms of trying to make shit easier on them and everything like that. It's just like when somebody already has a pretty sizable debt to me, it's like I'm just not the kind of person who's just gonna act like $5,000 is not a lot. $5,000 to me.
All right, you just let him borrow 5 bands and you gave him more. That's not a loan. You just giving it to him because when you loaning somebody money, you don't keep loaning them money. Do the bank do that? No. Thank you.
Me is still a shitload regardless of whatever I got going on, you know?
Well, especially it's got to be kind of weird when you have this relationship. In order to have chemistry on a podcast, there has to be a level of friendship, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you have this employer-employee relationship. So it's like...
And forever, it's always unbelievably tricky when you have somebody who's working for you and then you start to become friends, because there's like a certain way that you would like to be able to act for your friends, and then there's a certain way that you consider it appropriate to act with somebody who works for me, you know? And so that's kind of like a tricky balance. And I see a lot of people in the comments who clearly don't understand that is kind of a precarious balance, because like, you know, people will be looking at it, be like, oh, to Adam, everything is just business. And it's like, well, this is someone who works for the brand. So it's like, yeah, it is kind of business. And at a certain point, it's like, I have to move.
When does the line be crossed when it's business and friends? You get what I'm saying? When you have a business, most of the time the people do become your friends. But you got to put the business first. And after you handle the business outside of work, then that's, you know, your friendship.
Move accordingly, right?
I mean, I'll say this. I've been in so many dire financial situations since I started working here, and I've never once asked No Jumper, you, or anybody affiliated with No Jumper for money in any capacity. Just because, like, I feel like it will fuck up potentially the dynamics and the relationships over here if I did that. You know what I mean?
And especially when there's never even a discussion or any kind of like consideration about paying it
Let's low-key throwing Bricc Baby under the bus
back, which is obviously the case in this situation. Like, I don't mean to like rub it in or act like it's
so they know like, oh, I got you on the first type shit.
Nah, and to be fair, I never brought it up, and if I had, then, you know, maybe he would have like tried to.
But when you owe somebody money, they ain't supposed to come looking for it. You're supposed to pay it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But have you ever been broke and had a rich friend?
Never pretty much no to both of those. I never really had a rich friend like prior to all the No Jumper stuff. I never really had a friend who had more money than me that I was like real friends with, you know? Like I always kind of was like the guy who had like a little bit of money, and then all my friends were broke.
I've been broke with rich friends.
Just to be totally real. Like even the BMX days, I kind of always had more money than like pretty much everybody that I was hanging out with, even though at that time, like me having money was like, oh, I had like 10 grand in the bank. You know, it wasn't like I was like killing it or anything.
I think Bricc kind of looking like I'm good as long as I got my boy, my friend that's up some M's. I'm gonna be forever straight, and that's probably his mindset. But he shouldn't be thinking like that. And then if you do, you should keep your credit clean. Like, man, pay it back. You know what I'm saying? So then you can always
go back and
you can always double back because they know you good for it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but the other thing is like the reason why I never said like, yo, can you pay me back on this type of schedule or whatever is because my assumption about how he would go get some money is not really like something that I wanted to like encourage him to do.
Might be a liability.
This is a guy who has been, you know, in the streets for a percentage of his life, pretty much the whole life until recently, I guess. And, you know, I didn't want to like be like, yo, like you got to go do this so that you could help me out. I just figured he would pay it back if he got the chance or whatever. So like, I don't know.
Do y'all feel like Bricc Baby was ever going to pay that money back? I don't.
Made that video today just to try to like explain that shit to the world, and then in particular it just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way seeing him say things on a jail call that was so different than the tone that we were dealing with on camera or on the phone when it was just me and him. And then in addition, for Sharp to be making videos and making it like he's got inside information from talking to Bricc, that really pissed me off, because especially like if me and you are homies, why is someone like Sharp, who is a bottom-dwelling piece of dog shit, why is he coming out with exclusive information that, you know, yeah, part of me thinks like maybe Sharp was just saying that, but then part of me also is like Sharp swearing up and down in the video that he's like, I don't think, I know. You know, when
I got the content, church.
He's making it 100% clear that he knows for a fact that this is how the situation is between me and Bricc. I got to take that a certain way. And if this is really your boy and he's saying that and it's not coming from you, then you should probably have something to say about that.
I think a lot of people's like rebuttal or question that they would have for you in this moment isn't No Jumper kind of like capitalizing, or people think that No Jumper's making a lot of money off of Bricc still, and like this, so he deserves compensation from his name being just so prominently featured.
One thing number one, we're going to talk about what's in the news no matter what. That's just what this business is. So it's like, you know, if Brick's in the news, we're going to talk about Bricc. If it wasn't Bricc, if T-Rail got a fucking murder case tomorrow, then yeah, we're going to make money off talking about T-Rail, you know, but
or Yuri even for that instance.
Or Yuri, yeah. Fingers crossed that somebody wipes him off the face of the earth. But that being said,
you know the feds watching, you gonna say that.
I actually feel like, you know, probably the Bricc experiment was not really, I feel like we were probably in the red up until this time period. So like, if anything, us having so many conversations about this on camera was probably like the thing that maybe like bumped it over into the black. But then also like understand that there's a lot of stank on the brand right now. And as illogical as it is from my perspective, there's a lot of people that are not really excited to be on the No Jumper platform because they are kind of looking at it like a Fed adjacent podcast at this point. I've heard this from quite a few people that have been trying to like get us interviews and stuff like that. And from my perspective, this really doesn't make any sense at all, because nothing that happened on this podcast has anything to do with why these people are locked up. Now, the fact that they didn't get bail definitely is partially related to it. But, you know, I mean, to be fair, like, it's just, we may have had like a brief bump in views.
I mean, everything that the people say, that's on them. You get what I'm saying? It's up to the people to shut up. You feel me? The interviewer can ask questions all they want. You ain't got to answer them. And they be talking Fed.
As a result of the RICO. But I also feel like the amount of interviews that we have not gotten to be able to do as a result of this RICO is also pretty significant. And I'm not holding that against him, because that's not really like directly his fault or whatever. But there, you know, anytime something weird happens, like in the No Jumper brawl, the infamous loose cannon No Jumper brawl, that definitely is an example as well. Like, there was definitely people who did not want to come on the platform as a result of the fact that they saw this vicious beating take place at No Jumper, you know. So, but did we get a temporary burst of views from talking about that fight? Yeah, sure, but it probably wasn't really worth it in the long run.
Do you think that in retrospect it might have been a good idea, like when he initially got bailed or borrowed that money, that you guys made an arrangement at that moment, like, hey, we're gonna take 10% of every paycheck until this is paid back? Or
that is a good idea. That's the kind of thing that if I was a little bit more business savvy, maybe I would have done
loan
that.
department
type shit.
But honestly, that's the only time that somebody who was like a host, like AD never tried that with me. House phone. While he was at No Jumper, I don't think he ever did that. You know, I've helped him out like at other times financially and stuff, but it was never like that kind.
You don't just come out here telling people who you are and help. Like, is that weird to y'all? I want to know, is that weird to y'all? Drop it in the comments. Let me know.
Kind of thing. I mean, I never really had somebody who was trying to like do that sort of move with me, of like trying to get me to pay for a bunch of stuff, you know? So I don't know.
So he up to 8 bands right now?
Yeah. I'll be real with you. It's not like I'm like thinking that I'm gonna, oh yeah, one day I'm gonna get that 8 bands. No, I have written it off. That
yeah.
Man, that pretty much sums it up. I want to know how you guys feel, man. I want you to drop it in the comments, man. Adam over there telling what he done did for people. That's foul. You get what I'm saying? I want to know how you guys feel, man. Drop it in the comments. But until next time, I'm out.